Why?
Maybe, hey,
why do you panic?
The way you papa, you know papa. What you used to fan charcoal.
Right.
You've seen it before.
Right.
When you fan it, then the charcoal bright red.
This is a call for accountability.
You fan government's charcoal to it's bright red.
It's a call for accountability.
I enjoy it.
Johnny, first and foremost, let me take this opportunity because I've been seeing you for quite some time. You are doing very good job for the mother Ghana. Remain undaunted.
This is our society,
Correct.
and it will take me and you. That's why I always watch Johnny's Bite.
The general watches Johnny's Bite
every day.
Thank you very much.
And it's devoid of insults, but straight to the point, factual and fearless.
Charlie, no be joke. The pressure people like Johnny can give you.
No.
You know, get grey hair, you go get grey hair.
I'm innocent.
And that's what I'm saying. That the pressure Johnny and his people, the pressure they can give you know, get grey hair, you go get. So your best bet is not to have hair.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. It's a Thursday morning, and today is the 2nd of June. This same time in 2015, people had gone to work in the morning and they were getting ready to enjoy a full day of work. But little did they know that in the evening of June 2, it will rain, and by the close of June 3, people's lives would have been in a deep trouble. 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 7 years on. Have we learned any lessons? Now I'm asking all of us, 7 years on, have we learned any lessons from the June 3 disaster? A disaster of filth, flood, and fire. We are still talking about death. We are still talking about the floods. These days, not the fire. And the key lessons that should have come to us after the June 3 disaster seems not to have come to us. And you have to intersperse this with some of the visuals from there. And I feel a certain emotional connection each time I talk about this because I saw it with my eyes. I put together a documentary to that effect. I saw it with my very eyes. Today is June 2. Tomorrow will be June 3. Speeches will be made. We will come and get the people who are affected to speak. And then what? I said speeches will be made tomorrow. Photo opportunities will abound. The victims will be highlighted one more time. But at the end of the day, the lessons that we're supposed to have learned, and the past few days of rain has shown us that we really have not learned anything, and that we may not be disaster ready as a country. More than 100 people died in this disaster. 7 years on, what are the key lessons that we can beat our chest to say we have learned, and that if this cannot happen to us anymore, and even if it happens, the manner in which we dealt with it will be different. It rained. People's homes got broken down. People's homes were flooded. I am yet to see the relief efforts that was put out there. The pain and anguish of June 3, 7 years on, is coming back again, and those wounds will be reopened. The national psyche itself. Did we even find the victims to give them psychological support? Or it was just a one-off to say, oh, we are giving you compensation of this much, and that's it. June 3. It rained recently. People's homes were broken. I am here to read that they were given tents. I am here to read that we have gotten a designated area called evacuation centers where we could keep them. I'm here to read that we prepared warm meals and gave to them to keep body and soul together. I am here to read that we had psychologists designated to all those areas we know to be flood-prone areas to speak to people, to speak to their subconscious minds. I'm here to hear that. Yet, we have seen how we tried to make it look all rosy and cozy when the Piatti disaster happened. Sorry, I have to go there. Mirror that against what happened in the Volta region, the Keta, Ketu South, and Loga area. I am saying that as we speak, and I've said it before, it may not rain in Accra one day and we may have floods. But what is our attitude towards solving this 7 years on? 7 years on. And Danny, there's a video of the squatters at the Nkrumah Circle. 7 years on. 7 years on, we're still talking about people who are homeless, who are sleeping on the outskirts of the Nkrumah Circle, sleeping at the roundabout. 7 years on. 7 years on, we're still talking about people building in waterways. 7 years on. 7 years on, we're still talking about the fact that people are not desilting their gardens and people are indiscriminately throwing rubbish about. 7 years on. We are still making speeches. 7 years on, within that period, the pedestrian market at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle caught fire. Yes, it caught fire. We went there because it was before the elections. NDC went there, NPP went there. We went to speak to the market women. At some point, we even promised that we were going to give them monies as capital to bounce back. Some got monies, some did not get money. Now, after we gave them the money to bounce back, did we also consider reconstructing the market? Did we? Because the people from the markets, after their stores were burnt down, their wares were burnt down, their capital and their livelihood, everything got burnt, they moved onto the pavement. We went in a commando style to sack them to get back into the market. But did we bother to construct the market for them? 7 years on, the same issues that pertained, which made this June 3 disaster possible, is still alive and well, present, hale and hearty with us. So I asked the simple question, 7 years on, have we learnt a lesson? Has our National Disaster Management Organization learnt a lesson? 7 years on. Has our Ministry for Works learnt a lesson? 7 years on. Has our Ministry for Interior learnt a lesson? 7 years on. Has our Fire Service learnt a lesson? 7 years on. And at that point, we had members of the military join. And I saw it. So tomorrow, it shouldn't be about speeches. Tomorrow, June 3, 2022, 7 years on, it shouldn't be about speeches. Tomorrow, June 3, 2022, should be about a deeper reflection. Tomorrow, June 3, 2022, should be about solutions being announced. Tomorrow, June 3, 2022, should be about scratching the people where they actually itch. Tomorrow, June 3, 2022, pause the video, pause. Go back small, let's see him. See how it was burnt. June 3, 2022. This is supposed to be a smart city, right? We are supposed to be spending money to be planting trees in our reforestation drive to also help in the fight against climate change, SDG Goal 13, climate action. We're supposed to be desilting the outdoor, blah, blah, blah. That's a victim of June 3 disaster. And it's the same thing we do each year, May 9. We just celebrated May 9. The stadium disaster, we celebrated it. So we are happy that unfortunate should happen and then we'll come and celebrate. I apologize for the footage if you're having breakfast. Very graphic images, but that's the reality. That's the reality on the ground. I apologize sincerely for it, but that's the reality on the ground. And I'm saying 7 years on, I want to prick your conscience this morning. How have you lent your voice as a civil society organization? How have you lent your voice as a youth association? How have you lent your voice as a citizen of this country? How have you lent your voice as a senior citizen of this country? How have you lent your voice as a government official, as a member of parliament, as a minister of state? How have you lent your voice as a private citizen to making sure that this stops? How? And every year the rain comes and people are not comfortable. I spoke with a man about 3 or 4 weeks ago who told me that he had lived in a flood-prone area all his life, that when he traveled overseas and it started raining, he got up from his sleep and sat on the bed. That's the level of trauma he had been through, and he took that trauma from here to Bruni Krum. I said, tomorrow we don't want speeches. Tomorrow we don't want assurances. Tomorrow we want to hear the real-time solutions, because the rainy season is just kicking in. And if the rainy season is just kicking in, we don't want a repeat. Sorry about this picture, but we don't want a repeat. And there were even worse ones than this. I saw people's hair burning June 3, 2015. I saw the people congregated at the Goa filling station. I saw it. Then I used to work at TV Africa. We are just closed from the rundown show. We're going to look for something to eat as bachelors. I saw it. I saw how the vehicle of supposed rescuers came and they were sharing gloves to people who work there, those carpet sellers and the rest who used to work there, to help them with the rescue mission. I saw it, and they were sitting in the vehicle. Oh yes, I saw it. I saw it that the fire service and the Navy had to do a very tough job, and the police as well. They had to do a tough job carrying dead bodies into the buckets of trucks. I saw it. At that occasion, we told ourselves that, oh, Accra by its nature is a low-lying area. Then you find that SOT of ex-President Mahama for me. Ex-President Mahama spoke, President Akufo-Addo spoke, Ahmed Atta spoke, Oko van der Poel spoke, Samia Yaban Nkrumah spoke. They all spoke. They assured us, 7 years on, that's the simple question I'm asking. What lessons have we learned 7 years on? And how prepared are we should disaster strike? Are we just interested in the documentation and the formulation of policies, but never ready to get into real action with them? And it is largely because the individuals who go through some of these things are not the individuals who are in positions of power. For some people, their homes may never get flooded until they die. But these high-end areas, they are the Brackets of this world, the Ringway estates of this world, the Awudomes of this world. There used to be high-end areas that never flooded. So I'm asking again, 7 years on, what lessons have we learned? 7 years on, after June 3, what lessons have we learned? Then today is June 2. I'm saying to you that tomorrow we will have speeches. I'm saying to you that tomorrow we'll have photo opportunities. I'm saying to you tomorrow that we'll hear plans are far advanced. I'm saying to you that tomorrow we'll be told what the future looks like. But if 2015 was the past, or is the past, 2022 is the future. What we said in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021 has it materialized in 2022? Think about it. And think deeply about it, because it could be you next time. So think about it. Now let's wrap up with the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And I'm happy that the Foreign Affairs Ministry has gotten into what seems like a diplomatic gaffe that we immersed ourselves unnecessarily into. And yesterday I mentioned to you that, look, you can't be living in the boys' quarters of another person, being fed by the person, being clothed by the person, being housed by the person, your bills being taken care of by the person, and you want to rub shoulders and show that you are Kentinka. It doesn't work like that. Because the moment the person has takes over all those responsibilities, you would have to yield to the person. It's only commonsensical. We are looking for what? Bullion vans. We are looking for armored vehicles. We are looking for extra training. We are looking for uniforms. We are looking for boots. We are looking for walkie-talkies. We are looking for bulletproof vests. We are looking for helmets. We are looking for rifles. We are looking for all those things. Where are we sourcing the monies from? And because the black man has not been capable of handling his own affairs, we remain a begging continent. We continue to beg. And once you go begging, your dignity is stripped. So when you go begging, your dignity is stripped as opposed to, this is my money, I want to buy. And I gave you the scenario yesterday. When COVID struck the whole continent of Africa, over 50 countries, we couldn't manufacture a single vial of vaccine. What we did instead was go to borrow monies from the same people who want to show that we have reached. But I like the intervention of the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And yesterday I was asking where our Foreign Affairs Ministry was, and I was asking where our president, who is himself the former diplomat, was. I was asking that question yesterday, and I'm happy about this. So kudos to the ministry. It says that for immediate release, Accra, 1st June 2022, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has noted with concern the intense public debate that has been generated by the communication between the Inspector General of Police and the British High Commissioner in Accra. In line with the general diplomatic practice of communicating with diplomatic missions, preferably through direct engagement, the ministry wishes to remain circumspect on its pronouncements on the matter. We have therefore initiated contact with both the British High Commissioner and Inspector General of Police to resolve the issue at stake. I told you yesterday that we would have a closed-door meeting. This is the closed-door meeting. This is the closed-door meeting I was telling you about, that they have initiated contact with both of them to resolve the matter at stake. Of course, they won't resolve it publicly. But that is why a letter that was tagged restricted should never have made it into the public domain. And should never have had the language that it did in the first place. That was why the letter of that nature restricted should never have made it in the public domain. And I asked the question. The tweet was on 17th of May. The letter is dated 20th of May. We get to hear about it on the 30th or 31st of May. Are we being moved away from Achimota forest lands, the Sakumono Ramsar site lands? Are we being moved away from Felicia Tete and the sharing of COVID monies to party apparatchiks? Are we being rediverted? Are we moving away from the Traditional Council and indicating that they were going to investigate the sharing of lands and they didn't give us a timeline for the investigation, so it's investigation forever? Are we moving away from the Nkranza South killing, which the IGP has a duty to investigate and bring the perpetrators to book? Are we being moved away from the public whipping of two people who are supposedly to have had sex and recorded it and shared it? Is corporal punishment the panacea? Are we moving away from those? The real germane issues. Are we moving away from the issues of people talking about their hashes and their realities, the petrol price that has gone up just yesterday? Will we be moved away from it? I'm asking. I'm just asking this hypothetical questions. But I'm saying that this letter suggests that we didn't send you, Mr. IGP. Please stay in your corner and leave diplomatic work for diplomatic people. Look at the last paragraph. It says, the ministry wishes to underline its commitment to the strong historical bonds between Ghana and the United Kingdom, which through the years have been deepened by, among others, the exchange of high-level visits on both sides, as well as increased cooperation on trade, investment, blah, blah, blah. We take this opportunity to reaffirm the bonds of friendship and cooperation between our two countries. Essentially saying, we didn't send you. You shouldn't have gone this far. Leave the diplomacy job for the diplomats and focus on the security jobs. IGP, I like you, but this one, you got it wrong. And I'm waiting for the professors who were vehemently defending all of this. I'm waiting for your position as well. I want to hear it. The defense, the stiff defense, I want to hear it. When you can't afford your own food, you borrow to buy food. And then you borrow to also construct toilets where you can ease yourself after eating your food. You borrow to build schools. You borrow to buy uniform for your children. You borrow to produce textbooks. So if the money doesn't come, you are found wanting. You borrow to change your curriculum. You borrow to do nearly everything. That right and dignity is stripped of you. No be me do am, now you do am. And we started, after 1957, we started going down. We were #1 on the charts in West Africa. Now we are number 8. We are clapping. There's a problem with us. And we have real national issues to fix and not to be seen locking horns and showing bravado. Good morning.